In a town like Havenwood, Oregon, secrets aren't just kept, they're buried. They're buried under a foundation of trust, under 50 years of neighborly smiles and unlocked doors. No one knew that better than Arthur Penwright, the town's beloved grandfather. Which is why, on the morning of October 2nd as Heroes, on True Crime Dark Side, we're going to uncover the truth behind the stillness in Havenwood. Detective Miles Corbin hated neat crime scenes. They were unnatural. Chaos had a logic, panic, rage, fear, but precision spoke of something colder. And the scene in the back office of the Gilded Page bookstore was clinically neat. Arthur Penwright sat slumped at his desk, a single, dark indentation marrying the silver hair at the base of his skull. No papers were disturbed. A half-full cup of tea was growing cold beside his hand. The only thing out of place was the man's stillness and the hollowed-out cash register at the front of the store. It looked like a simple robbery gone wrong. Corbin's gut told him it was anything, but Arthur Penwright, 78, was the gentle, beating heart of Havenwood, Oregon. For 50 years, he owned and operated the Gilded Page, the town's last independent bookstore. He was more than a shopkeeper. He was a quiet benefactor who sponsored the Little League, anonymously funded the Arts Council, and was known to forgive the tabs of families going through hard times. To the people of Havenwood, Arthur was the town grandfather, a benevolent, soft-spoken intellectual with a kind word for everyone and a Werther's original for any child who wandered into his shop. He was seen as the unwavering moral compass of a town that prided itself on old-fashioned values. Havenwood, Oregon, a small, misty town nestled in a valley, where the air smells of damp earth and wood smoke. The Gilded Page itself is a local sanctuary, filled with the scent of aging paper, worn leather armchairs, and towering oak shelves. Deep-rooted trust and idyllic quiet. Havenwood was a place where doors were left unlocked, and a man's reputation was his bond. The murder felt like a tear in the very fabric of their reality. On a Tuesday morning in late October, Arthur Penwright was found by his young employee, Elara Vance. He had been killed by a single, precise blow to the back of the head with a heavy, blunt object. His wallet was on the desk, credit cards and personal cash untouched. The store's cash register, however, had been emptied of roughly $400. The chasm between public perception and private reality. The narrative of a simple, tragic robbery formed almost instantly. The empty register was the anchor. The department, pressured by a grieving and terrified town, quickly identified a suspect, Leo Klein, a local youth with a history of petty theft and a known drug problem. He'd been seen arguing with Penwright a week prior, allegedly over an unpaid debt. It was a clean, easy theory. Leo was arrested, and a wave of relief washed over Havenwood. Justice, it seemed, would be swift. But Detective Corbin couldn't shake the neatness of it all. Why would a desperate addict take only the register cash and leave the wallet? Why was there no sign of struggle? His focus shifted to a detail everyone else had dismissed. A small, black, leather-bound ledger that Elara Vance mentioned Arthur kept on his desk was missing. It wasn't valuable. A robber wouldn't have taken it. Corbin began re-interviewing the townspeople, not as grieving friends, but as business associates of the deceased. He started with the owner of the town diner, a man Arthur had saved from bankruptcy a decade ago. He moved on to the mechanic, the florist, the realtor. A pattern began to emerge, whispered in hushed, fearful tones. Arthur Penwright wasn't a benefactor. He was a predator of a different kind. His loans were never just about money. He'd save a business, and in return, he'd own a piece of you. Not on paper, but in favors, in control, in fealty. The diner owner had to buy his supplies from an out-of-state vendor Arthur recommended, at a higher cost. The florist had to provide free arrangements for any event Arthur deemed important. He held their livelihoods in his hands, and the little black ledger was where he documented these debts of the soul. He wasn't the town's grandfather. He was its silent, smiling king, and his subjects lived in gilded cages. Corbin brought Elara Vance, the quiet, church-going girl who found the body, back to the station. He didn't ask her about Leo Klein. He asked her about the ledger. Her composure finally cracked. The truth came out in a leaden silence. Alara's family had owned the town's hardware store for generations. 5 years ago, facing financial trouble, they had gone to Arthur for help. He had graciously arranged the sale of their store to a faceless corporation, ensuring they had enough to retire. Last week, while cleaning Arthur's office, Alara had found the ledger. In it, she saw her family's name, and next to it, a notation of a 40% finder's fee paid directly to Arthur from the corporation, a sum that would have saved their store twice over. He hadn't saved them. He had sold them out for a profit while playing the hero. She saw the names of dozens of other families and business owners in that book, each with a story of similar manipulation. She confronted Arthur that morning. He didn't deny it. He smiled that benevolent, grandfatherly smile and told her it was the price of living in his town. At that moment, seeing the monster behind the mask, Alara snapped. She grabbed the heaviest thing on his desk, a solid brass bookend, a gift from the town council, and struck him. The rage was a white flash. When it cleared, he was gone, knowing what the town would think, and wanting to protect the other victims in the ledger from being exposed. She acted deliberately. She took the ledger, then walked to the front of the store and emptied the cash register to create a plausible story. She knew Leo Klein would be the first suspect, and she was counting on it. With Alara's confession and the recovery of the burned remains of the ledger from her fireplace, the case was officially closed. Leo Klein was released. The news shattered Havenwood's idyllic image, replacing it with a complicated, ugly truth. Arthur Penwright's murder was not a random act of violence, but a desperate act of liberation. The town wasn't mourning the loss of a saint anymore. It was grappling with the ghost of a tyrant they had all helped create. Detective Corbin filed his final report, the words feeling heavy and insufficient. The crime was solved, but the real sentence had been handed down to the town itself, to live with the knowledge that the worst monsters are the ones you invite into your home. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.